गिरिवरधारी यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन यमुनातीरवनचारी यमुनातीरवनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन यमुनातीरवनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Hare Krishna. So today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 12, entitled Birth of Emperor Parikshit. Today we are discussing on text number 33. Tad abhipretam ālakṣya bhrātaro acyuta-coditāḥ dhanam prahīṇam ājahruр udīcyāṁ diśi bhūriśaḥ tad abhipretam ālakṣya bhrātaro acyuta-coditāḥ dhanam prahīṇam ājahrur udīcyāṁ diśi bhūriśaḥ tad abhipretam ālakṣya bhrātaro acyuta-coditāḥ dhanam prahīṇam ājahrur udīcyāṁ diśi bhūriśaḥ. abhipretam ālakṣya bhrātaro cyuta-coditāḥ udīcyāṁ diśi bhūriśaḥ tad abhipretam ālakṣya bhrātaro cyuta-coditāḥ dhanam prahīṇam ājahruḥ udīcyāṁ diśi bhrātaro cyuta-coditāḥ dhanam prahīṇam ājahrur udīcyāṁ diśi bhūriśaḥ. Translation, purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. Before that, we'll read word to word meaning. Tat, his. Abhipretam, wishes of the mind. Ālakṣya, observing. Bhrātaraḥ, his brothers. Achyuta, the infallible Lord Śrī Kṛṣṇa. Coditaḥ, being advised by. Dhanam, riches. prahīṇam, to collect. Ājahruḥ, brought about. Udīcyāṁ, northern. Diśi, direction. bhūriśaḥ, sufficient. Translation. Understanding the hearty wishes of the king, his brothers, as advised by infallible Lord Kṛṣṇa, collected sufficient riches from the north, led by King Marutta. Purport. So here is about now King Marutta is given description. Mahārāja Marutta, one of the great emperors of the world. He reigned over the world long before the reign of Mahārāja Yudhiṣṭhira. He was the son of Mahārāja Avikṣit and was a great devotee of the son of sun god known as Yamarāja. His brother Samvarta was a rival priest of the great Bṛhaspati, the learned priest of demigods. He conducted one sacrifice called Saṅkara-yajña, by which the Lord was so satisfied that he was pleased to hand over to him the charge of a mountain peak of gold. This peak of gold is somewhere in the Himālaya Mountains, and modern adventurers may try to find it there. He was so powerful and emperor that at the day's end of sacrifice, the demigods from the other planets like Indra, Candra and Bṛhaspati used to visit his palace. And because he had the gold peak at his disposal, he had sufficient gold in his possession. The canopy of sacrificial altar was completely made up of gold. In his daily performance of sacrificial ceremonies, some of the inhabitants of Vayulok, airy planets, were invited to expedite the cooking work of the ceremony. And an assembly of demigods in the ceremony was led by Vishwadev. By his constant pious work, he was able to drive out all kinds of diseases from the jurisdiction of his kingdom. All the inhabitants of higher planets like Devaloka and Pitriloka were pleased with him for his great sacrificial ceremonies. Every day he used to give in charity to learned brahmanas such things as beddings, seats, convenience, and sufficient quantities of gold. Because of munificent charities and performances of innumerable sacrifices, the king of heaven Indradev was fully satisfied with him and always wished for his welfare. Due to his pious activities, he remained a young man throughout his life and reigned over the world for 1000 years, surrounded by his satisfied subjects, minister, legitimate wife, son, and brothers. Even Lord Shri Krishna praised his spirit of pious activities. He handed over his only daughter to Maharshi Angira, and by his good blessings, he was elevated to the kingdom of heaven. First of all, he wanted to offer the priesthood of his sacrifices to learned Bṛhaspati, but the demigod refused to accept the post because of kings being a human being, a man of this earth. He was not very sorry for this, but on the advice of Narad Muni, he appointed Samvarta to the post and he was successful in his mission. The success of particular type of sacrifice completely depends on the priest in charge. In this age, all the kinds of sacrifice are forbidden because there is no learned priest among the so-called Brahmanas who go by false notion of becoming son of Brahmanas without Brahmanical qualifications. In this age of Kali, therefore, only one kind of sacrifice is recommended, Saṅkara-yajña, as inaugurated by Lord Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Cha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauradvishe Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukham karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yatkripa tamaham vande Shri Guru Deenatarinam. Hare Krishna. So today we are discussing on this verse. So before I begin, I would like to seek blessings of all Vaishnavas so that I can speak something on this verse in the parampara and for my purification upon heart and glorification of the Lord in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam. So this verse, the series of verses which are going on, now the Parikshit Maharaj description are now over. That is, Parikshit Maharaj has already grown. Now here, the King Yudhiṣṭhira, now he is preparing for the sacrifice. That is what going on. And especially last verse yesterday's, it was said why Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj told to get the wealth. Because After fighting, all the wealth was exhausted almost. So then he told that, advised by Krishna, that you go to the place in the north where there is a King Marutta. And he has so much gold that he used to do sacrifice and he used to give to Brahmanas. And Brahmanas, while going, they would just keep aside. So there was a stack of gold, and that was there only. And that's how he told that you get that gold for the sacrifice. So especially we heard how great King Marutta was, that how he performed sacrifice, so many great personalities used to come. And especially in the last paragraph it is said that the particular type of sacrifice are forbidden in the age of Kali, because it is depend on the priest. And now there is hardly any priest who can pronounce such mantras. Yes. So even like sometimes to read some Sanskrit word also it is very difficult. So if what happens in mantras then? So mercifully Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave us the Saṅkara-yajña, that's what Srila Prabhupada said. So today we'll try to see something from this, that what do we learn from King Marutta, and Srila Prabhupada especially says about Brahmanas, and then about Saṅkara-yajña. So from here we can see that King Marutta gave out so much gold. First thing we understand, the king has to be magnanimous. And the Brahmanas refuse to accept that they did not carry at home. That shows the satisfaction of Brahmanas. So when king becomes selfish and when Brahmanas become greedy, that's how the whole society is collapsed. Because the king are the protectors and Brahmanas are the guiding light. And Krishna in Bhagavad Gita 18.42 and 43 says about the qualifications of Brahmana and the Kshatriya. So in 42, Krishna says, Kshamodamastapashaucham shantir arjamam evacha jnanam vidnanamastikhyam brahma karma svabhavajam. How does Brahmana work? He has peacefulness, self-control, austerity, purity, tolerance, honesty, knowledge, wisdom and religiousness. These are the natural qualities by which Brahmanas work. So now, how does the Kshatriya? Shauram tejo dhritirdakshyam yuddhe chapi apalayanam dhanam ishvara bhavascha kshatram karma sabhavajam. Heroism, power, determination, resourcefulness, courage in battle, generosity and leadership are the natural qualities of work for the Kshatriyas. So when Kshatriyas like Marutta was like this, he was courageous and at the same time he was magnanimous. So that's how he gave out gold in such quantities. And Brahmanas, they are satisfied. They do not become greedy. And that's how we learn from here that how Brahmanas, they gave out such gold. So it is said Kshatriya must have this Ishvara Bhav, that he should have this controlling mentality. But that should be used for the protection of society, not for or not for the exploitation of citizens. So we see current Kali Yuga is what has happened. The Kshatriyas, the king has become selfish and Brahmanas have become the greedy. Yes. So one time after the whole battle of this Kurukshetra, Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj was ruling and the Bhima was put in charge of the protection. So one day what happened, that one person came to Bhima and he said, today I saw very surprising thing, unique. He said, what happened? I saw one person, he was taking one needle and from the needle whole elephant went, but his tail remained in the hole of the needle. That did not pass. Bhima said, how it is possible? If whole elephant can go, how can the tail be stuck? He said, okay. Then he said, I don't know how it happened. Then second person came. He said, I saw some surprising thing. He said, what did you see? There was a great stone, very huge stone. And there were big wrestlers. They were trying to push it. It did not even bunch. Even it did not move an inch. But later one sage came, he took one stick and he just did like this and the whole stone moved. He said, Acha, I also don't know how did it happen. Bhima was like, then third thing he said, third person came. He said, I saw something surprising today. He said, what? He said, I took one pot, big pot, and I distributed into small, small pots, that water. And again I took small pots and put it again into that original big pot. But it just filled the half. Same water. He said, okay. I also don't know. And fourth person, that he said that actually today some surprising thing happened. He said, what? In my farm, I put a fencing to protect the crops. But I saw the very fencing only ate the crops. He said, Acha, I don't know, let's go to Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj. And when they told Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj, this is what happened, then Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj said, these are the symptoms of Kali Yuga. That means Dwapar has almost ended. But how do we understand what all these things represent? Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj, first he said that when elephant, the whole elephant was going through the needle, the whole of needle, but his tail remained. What does it shows? People will spend lot of money on sense gratification. But you ask for the donation for the Lord, then they will get stuck up. These are the words of Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj. So when it comes to the spirituality, they will not spend. Then he said, okay. Then second, what about the big stone? He said that no solution in this world can work for the purifying the heart. And the stick of the sadhu is like the power of holy name. By chanting one holy name, all the sins will be eradicated. He said, okay. And third, he said, third thing that, what was third thing? Pot. Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj said this pot, that means that you do good for all the people. But when it comes to reciprocation, then it will only become half. So do not expect much. So the gratitude will be reduced in the age of Kali Yuga. And fourth, he said that the fencing eating the tree, the very crop, that those who are supposed to protect will become the cause of your disturbance. Or from whom you expect the protection, they will only become the cause of disturbance for you. So one time what happened, there were thieves. And they put one rocks and everything, and they know from this many buses go. One bus came and it stopped because there were so many rocks they put on the road. And so then they stopped the bus. They said, everyone get out. Then all passengers became fearful. It was night time. The conductor and the driver also got down. He said, everyone keep your luggages inside. And all of you just get down and whatever mobiles, everything you have, keep inside. So all the passengers got down because these thieves they were having knives and everything. So then they went inside. After 1 hour, they came out. And they looked very frustrated and little tense. And the leader of that thieves, the gang ka leader tha, he said, everyone go inside and take the bus ahead. तो सब बोले अरे कुछ किया नहीं, कुछ नहीं लिया भी नहीं. Then one of the passenger, he thought to us, he was little courageous. He saw the leader. He said, एक पूछूं क्या? बोले आपने गाड़ी रुकाया, आप लूटने भी वाले थे, लेकिन आप कुछ भी नहीं ले क्यों छोड़ दिया? तो बोला एक प्रॉब्लम हो गया. बोला क्या हो गया? बोले आप सबका पूरा माल मिला के सिर्फ 70,000 रुपये हो रहा है. तो बोला तो क्या प्रॉब्लम है? बोले अगर हमने कौन सा भी डाका डाला तो 1 लाख रुपीस पुलिस को जाता है. तो अगर हमने आपका बस लूटा, so we are in -30. So you go ahead. So this is the fencing very eating the tree. Those who are supposed to protect, they become the cause of our whole disturbance. This is true incidents told by Acharya Prabhu in GV. Yes. So even many things are there in this world also. The police know in which area which pocket picker is there. One time one devotee was saying that he was previously he used to do thievery kind of thing. Later he became favorable. And then one told that, oh, my pocket got stolen in this station. बोले कौन सा ये station है? He directly called. बोले कौन सा pocket है क्या? बोले हाँ है. Then he returned and who called? That police was only there. So he was also knowing that such things are there. That means from whom we seek the shelter, they become the cause. So that is what the situation in the Kali Yuga. But here we see the ideal kings, they said they have to be guided by the Brahmanas. When king is not guided by Brahmanas, then they get misdirected. They become selfish and then Brahmanas become greedy. And we know Brahmanas also that currently Kali Yuga, they will tell how much time you have, accordingly they will do the puja. Previously Radhesham Bro was saying that our time, he was saying that 4 hours the puja will go on. And later I saw same puja, he did in 1 hour. I said कैसे बोले अभी टाइम कम हो गया तो शॉर्ट में. देन ये आपको कौन सा पूजा करना है, 1 घंटा 2 घंटा 3 घंटा 4 घंटा, इसका ऐसा रेट है. बोले सेम पूजा 1 घंटे में दे. हाँ जितना आपको चाहिए उतना हम करके देंगे. Yes. So that is what the situation in the Kali Yuga. That's why seeing all these things, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mercifully appeared and he know all these things are there. Better we chant the holy name. So Srila Prabhupada has inaugurated this Sankirtan, also later took ahead in the Western world. So especially Srila Prabhupada says that the success of particular type of sacrifice completely depends on the priest in charge. So we know the priest, even at the time before the Kali Yuga started, they gave one conclusion in first canto 18th verse, 18th chapter 12th verse. Karmani asmin anavashe dhumna dhumramritam bhavan apayayati govinda pada padmashavam madhu. What they said? We have just begun the performance of this fruitive activity, a sacrificial fire, but we are without certainty of its results. So this has happened before the age started. Because many imperfection in our action, our bodies have become black from the smoke, but we are factually pleased by the nectar of lotus feet of personality of Godhead Govinda, which you are distributing. Srila Prabhupada writes in Purport that sacrificial fire kindled by the sage of Naimisharanya was certainly full of smoke, and the sages were full of doubts because so many flaws in such activity. And Srila Prabhupada says that the sages of Naimisharanya were practically sufferers from the smoke of sacrificial fire and were doubtful about the result. So that was the condition at the age when the Kali Yuga was about to begin. So now we can never expect. Yes, even to begin the fire also now in rainy season, our matchbox also doesn't burn internally. So what to begin the sacrifice? Yes. So it is easy to chant holy name. So along with this flaw, many people have their own philosophy also. This is one flaw. Now in the Kali Yuga also many people have own philosophy. Like I was going from Chaupati to our Barsanadam voice recently. Then we sat in one taxi and I was sitting in ahead. Then I asked taxi, आप मंदिर आए कि नहीं है? बहुत सुंदर मंदिर है. बोले मैं मंदिर में नहीं आता हूँ. बोले क्यों? बोले मुझे प्रसाद के लिए और दर्शन के लिए लाइन में खड़ा रहना पसंद नहीं है. बोला ठीक है कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं. एंड somehow I got the महाप्रसाद of राधा गोपीनाथ. I took out and gave him. ऐसे देखो आपका प्रॉब्लम क्या है, दर्शन लाइन में खड़ा नहीं रहना, लेकिन भगवान देखो कितने मर्सीफुल है, आपके लिए प्रसाद भेजा उनके अल्टर से डायरेक्ट, है कि नहीं? आपने कुछ करना चाहिए. बोला नहीं, मेरा फिलोसॉफी क्या है, अपना कर्म करो फल मिलेगा. देन आई डिड नॉट डू मच इंटर. बोला नहीं ठीक है, मैं जस्ट पूछा ऐसे ही. मैं बोला देन ही वाज लिटिल पीसफुल. तो बाद में मैं देन आई आस्क फ्रॉम वेयर यू आर. बोले आई एम फ्रॉम व्हाट इज इट, वाराणसी, काशी समवेयर. बोले सिर्फ 60 किलोमीटर है उधर से. बोला अरे कितना बढ़िया है, आप तो एकदम नज़दीक धाम से. देन ही सेड लेकिन एक बार भी गया नहीं मैं. बोला ठीक है कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं. then I asked, then in between gas station we stopped and गाड़ी was little, the taxi was actually very kind of in different situation, it was hardly moving. I was also little like became annoyed and little disturbed by this. मैं बोला अरे तुम्हारा गाड़ी बहुत ख़राब हो गया. बोले क्या करे, अभी दिन बहुत ख़राब चल रहे. बोला ठीक है, लेकिन वो बोले क्या करूं. बोले क्या करूं, क्या नया गाड़ी खरीदो. ऐसे नया गाड़ी खरीदो. बोले महाराज जी दिन बहुत ख़राब चल रहे हैं, अभी प्रार्थना करो. देन वी सैट इन द बस. बोले आप बोले प्रार्थना करो, लेकिन आप तो कर्म कर रहे हैं, आपको बुरा कैसे आ रहा है. बोले वो पिछले का कुछ तो रहेगा इसलिए आ रहा है. तो बोला पिछला आपका रहेगा तो अभी अच्छा कर रहे हैं ना आप. बोले हाँ, तो अच्छा आएगा, मैं क्यों प्रार्थना करूँ, मेरा प्रार्थना किधर से आ गया, वो क्या करेगा? बोले नहीं, मैंने सुना है कुछ तो प्रार्थना से 10-15% कम हो जाता है बोले। बोले मेरे प्रार्थना से 10-15% कम होगा, तुम खुद ने किया तो पूरा जाएगा, है कि नहीं? Then he got little doubt on his own philosophy. कि कर्म वाला. Then he started chanting so many of the verses I was also not knowing. From Ramayana and Tulsidas, all the prayers, whole journey he was chanting like this. So in this also actually people have their own philosophy, but they also don't know how much power or what is there. Then some people say we are God. Yes, like one time Gurudas Prabhu was also there in one of the in India. And these Mayavadis came and they told Prabhupada, you come and speak. Prabhupada was sick and he sent Gurudas Prabhu. And then Gurudas Prabhu became very angry. And after hearing all this Mayavadi, he said, if you are saying everything is God, then why don't you eat halwa? Why don't you eat stool instead of halwa? Then all Mayavadis became very angry and they felt very bad. They came to Srila Prabhupada. He said, what is this? This is what you say to your disciples? They are saying you eat stool instead of halwa if everything is one. Oh, Prabhupada said, oh, okay, no problem. He must be not knowing. I'll take care. You please go ahead. Then he called. So Gurudas, did you give this example? He said, yes, Prabhupada. Prabhupada, very nice example. So why? Because actually the very tendency of the Prabhupada said, can I use it? So why? Because actually it is not the nature to compete with the God. The same thing we did in the spiritual world and we already are experiencing what is the result of that. And then how can we become God in this world? So very tendency of spirit soul is to serve. So the enjoyed becomes happy by serving the enjoyer. And so very easy process is given. That is the conclusion of whole Srimad Bhagavatam. Nama sankirtanam yasya sarva papa pranashanam pranamo dukkha shamnas tam namami harim param. Now what is the power of this sankirtan? We'll see this. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Antelila 3rd chapter 50th verse. The Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is discussing with Haridas Thakur. And especially Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said about the Yavanas, how they will be delivered. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Haridasa Kali Kale Yavana Apar Go Brahmane Himsa Kare Mahadurachar. He said, my dear Haridas, in this age of Kali, most people are bereft of Vedic culture. And therefore they are called Yavanas. They are concerned only with killing cows and Brahmanical cultures. In this way they all engage in sinful activities. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Iha sabar kon mate haiba nistar tahara hetu na dekhiye ye dukkha apar. So what was the dissatisfaction of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? That how these Yavanas will be delivered. Srila Prabhupada writes very nice purport. Prabhupada says, unfortunately, even some so-called Vaishnava enviously refuse to cooperate with this movement, but instead condemn it in so many ways. We are very sorry to say that these people try to find fault with us, being unnecessarily envious of our activities. Although we are trying to the best of our ability to introduce Krishna consciousness movement directly into the countries of Yavanas and Mlecchas, such Yavanas and Mlecchas are coming to us and becoming purified Vaishnavas who follow in the footsteps of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then Prabhupada says, one who identifies himself as a follower of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu should feel like Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who said, Iha sabara kon mate haibe nistar. How will all these Yavanas be delivered? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was always anxious to deliver the fallen souls because their fallen condition gave him great unhappiness. This is the platform on which one can propagate the mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had this concern. Then Haridas Thakur in reply gives two examples. That what is the power of Sankirtan. He says, Yavana saklera mukti habe anayase haram bali kahe nama bhase. He said, there are two people. One is great devotee. They says, Haram. Haram means, oh my Lord Ramchandra. And there is another people, they say bad words, that Haram. So that is like lower, basically, society, they use word Haram. But Haridas Thakur says, because Yavanas are accustomed to saying haram, haram, they will very easily be delivered by namavas. Because Lord will consider he is calling me, hey Ram, like this. And Prabhupada says, fire, if touched by the child or the elder, it will have the effect. So holy name is like that. And second example, Haridas Thakur says, Ajamila putre bolaya bali narayan Vishnuduta asi chadaya tahara bandhan. Ajamil was a great sinner during his life, but at the time of death, he accidentally called for his youngest son, whose name was Narayan, and in the attendance of Vishnu came to relieve him of the bondage of Yamarāja. Like these two examples gave. Now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became pacified. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to another level. He said, Prithivete bahu jeev stavar jangam iha sabara ki prakare haibe mochan. Now here, okay, this is now okay. But what about those who are moving and non-moving? How they will be delivered? Then Haridas Thakur says, Tumi ye karya che ye uchcha sankirtan stavar jangame se hayata shravan. You have loudly chanted the Hare Krishna mantra and everyone moving and non-moving has benefited by hearing. So that is the power actually when we do Sankirtan. That even the trees and everyone, they get delivered. And to the extent, Haridas Thakur says, when you chant the holy name, there will be echo. Then he said, it is not echo. Then Haridas Thakur said, what is that? Pratidhvani nahe se karaya kirtan tomara kripa yai akhanta kathan. Actually, however, it is not an echo. It is the kirtan of non-moving living entities. All this, although inconceivable, is possible by your mercy. So this is how is the powerful, the holy name, the Sankirtan Yajna, that even those who do not have mouths to say any words, yes, do not apparently have the ears, they can also get delivered by this Sankirtan Yajna. Now, there are two ways of chanting the holy name. One is called Sankirtan, that is congregational chanting of holy name, and another is called Japa, that is individual chanting. Now, after hearing so many glories and so much powerful, the question may come that, oh, even if I am trying to chant, why there is no taste? Yes, many people they ask that, or at least my condition is like that, why there is no taste while chanting the holy name? Yes, sometimes like one devotee was sharing that we become eager to see the outside beads than the inside beads. Yes, how fast they are moving. Yes, again we see. So why there is no taste? So the cause is given that it is due to offenses. Now why Ajamil got delivered? Because he was not knowing 10 offenses. So we already know. That means basically he was not committing all these offenses. That's why it is namabhas. So we already knows the offenses. And there are 10 offenses which we know, and one of that is very powerful. Two of that is first, the Vaishnava aparadha, and seventh, that is Nama aparadha, committing the sins on the strength of holy name. What is the nature? The nature of offenses is, it puts the block. It is like, I am now sick. I go into hospital, I search, I go everywhere, meet doctor, how are you? Okay, how is this medicine? How are the patients? And I come back. Then I cannot expect to get cured. So this is how, like, if I am not taking the medicine properly, then it won't have the effect. So there are some causes, it is said, the result of Vaishnava aparadha, there are 5 things it is said. First thing, it makes the heart very hard. Yes. Second, it cultivates the habit of fault finding. Third, there is loss of taste for reading and hearing. Then no inclination to hear Bhagavatam in the association of devotees, and there is aloofness. So this what's happen when one does Vaishnava aparadha, and that's what we see from the whole chapter of Amrish Maharaj, that how much dear is devotee for the Lord. So when one becomes offense, or when we becomes offensive, so Krishna takes out the taste. Yes. And how does Maya work? Like one time Kanai Thakur Prabhu was saying, Maya doesn't work like a hammer, the iron hammering. We see iron hammering, they like big blow. Maya works how? Like a goldsmith. So they will do very like this, small, small. And wherever there is crack, it will sound different. So Maya also test. She will keep like this. And wherever there is sound, wherever there is weakness, she will continuously hit it there. And biggest weakness she hits is the chanting time. Yes. So she will continuously hit because she knows this is most vulnerable place. And this is most powerful place also. So that's why it is very important that spending a quality time in chanting. So this, what I am speaking is for my own improvement in chanting. It is not to say anything. I am just repeating so that I will also become conscious about this time. So then Radheshyam Prabhu says actually when one is not chanting properly, the doubts started arising. Doubt starts. Even Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that if one chants inattentively, first thing happens is the doubts will arise. So that's why as soon as there is inattention, one should chant loudly. That is what is the solution. The doubts will, what it does, that they will not allow us to chant the holy name. So then that's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that when every time this Kulinagram Vasis used to come, so Kulinagram Vasis used to come and they used to give different petitions. So one time one devotee said, "My Lord, kindly tell me what is my duty and how should I execute it?" Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave the whole goal of our life in just 2 words. Prabhu kahe Vaishnava seva nama sankirtan dui kara shigra pabe Śrī Kṛṣṇa charan. So you need not do anything. Just do 2 things. Lord replied, you should engage yourself in the service of servants of Krishna, Vaishnavas, and always chant the holy name of Krishna. And if you do these 2 things, you will very soon attain the shelter of Krishna's lotus feet. Yes. So when seva is now, what is there? 2 solutions Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave. I was just yesterday was saying that 2 things Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said: Nama Sankirtan and Vaishnava Seva. Now to gauge the taste of holy name, you need to do Vaishnava Seva. But while being in the Vaishnavas, there are chances of offenses. Yes, and that's what lead to not taste for holy name. So what one needs to do? So one time, His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj said that menial seva a day keeps the false ego away. Like doctor say, na, apple a day keeps diseases away. So like that, humble seva a day keeps false ego away. And then Maharaj told this lecture, and then he was, our Radhika Raman Prabhu was there. And what had happened was, the garland I think fell down or something happened. And then Maharaj picked up that garland and again gave to Radhika Raman Prabhu. And Maharaj says, for today's my humble seva is done. Yes, menial seva is done. So menial seva a day. So one needs to be, when is such in such mode, then it is very less chances that one can commit an offense. One time Radheshyam Prabhu went to His Holiness Shukdev Maharaj and he said, Maharaj, now please give me some instruction so that I can nicely serve. Maharaj said, Radhe Radhe kaho, chote ban ke raho. Radheshyam Prabhu, aur kya? Maharaj, bas itna karo. Yes. Then Radheshyam Prabhu was saying that it is so important to have this humble attitude. And this is the same thing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said in 8 verses, that if one needs to chant the holy name, what one needs to do? Trinadapi sunechena tarorapi sahishnunam amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari. That Trinadapi sunechena, humbler than blade of grass and more tolerant than a tree. Then one can chant the holy name constantly. Yes. So we see that these causes of offenses, how does it happens now? While we are living, first thing it happens due to fear of others advancing. When you see that others are advancing very nicely, what happens? Insecurity comes, or the feeling of some criticisms or something. And this is what happened with Gopal Chapal. He saw in Srivas Thakur. Yes. So fear of others advancing actually. But we see that it is said that Phalavranta vriksha ara gunavanta jan namratas is sahara swabhavak nature. That means Phalavanta vriksha, the laden tree with the fruits, and the gunavanta jan, the person with all good qualities, what happens? Namrata se tahar. You will find natural humility in them. Yes. So that's what, there are 26 qualities. When we try to imbibe this, that this will help us to get such quality of humility. Yes. So Srila Prabhupada, one time one devotee came to Srila Prabhupada, and Srila Prabhupada, one of the god brother, had left the body. And one disciple came, and he, like in laughing way, he said, Srila Prabhupada, that your god brother left, where he must have gone? Because he was thinking Prabhupada would sometimes say that you should not associate. Prabhupada said he went to back to Godhead. And this disciple was shocked. He said, how come? Prabhupada. So then Prabhupada said, you should not judge. I may be saying differences. So what we learn, Srila Prabhupada never for personal, he any faulted any time. So what he did, he used to just made sure that devotees are safe and secure. That was the point. So offenses is when personal criticism or anything happen, that's what becomes an aparadha. So first thing is the fear of others advancing. So second is causes is fault finding. So third thing is, it is said, envy. And fourth thing is asatsanga. So there are 5 asatsanga. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that first category is no faith in God and morality. They are materialistics. Second bad association is those who have faith in morality but not in God. That is communist. Third is they have faith in both morality and God, but their faith in morality is higher than God. And we know the personality. So then there is impersonalist, sahaji, and demigod worshippers. So these are the people with whom he said one should avoid the association. Now, if devotee becomes impressed by materialistic, what happens? One may start finding fault with the devotees. So how does it happen? First, association of materialist, it makes one appreciate their work. That means one become impressed. Yes, like Radhesham Prabhu was saying, sometime devotees, when they go for they get job as working devotee, they become working. They may go into the offices and they will find everything is very neat and clean. And they will say, क्या ये अपना है कि नहीं, सेंटर इतना खराब है, इतना गंदा रहता है, उधर देखो कितना बढ़िया है. Yes. This is not what the conclusion should come. This is what, how will I keep this very nicely. Yes. So what happens? One becomes impressed, then he becomes inspired. Then he start appreciating, and then he start comparing, and then he start finding the faults, and that's how he start criticizing. That's how the flow goes. That's why it is Bhaktivinoda Thakur said this is the greatest danger, that is asatsanga. Yes. So what we can do to protect ourselves from this aparadha? First thing is that the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, very mouth which criticize, you glorify with the same mouth, drink the nectar. So first thing is always appreciating the devotees. Second, don't focus on shortcoming, because we don't know who is who. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, if you come to know that who is next to you, you will faint. Yes. So always having this mood. One time Krishnanand Prabhu, there was first year program had come on happening, and on the terrace, Krishnanand Prabhu saw all these students first time coming, and he paid full obeisances. And this devotees facilitator got bewildered. प्रभु जी किसको दंडवत कर रहे? बोले मुझे मालूम नहीं कल कौन से ग्रेट सोल है इसमें से, तो पहले दंडवत करता हूँ. Yes. So that means never finding the faults, and that's what like Srila Prabhupada also did. He encouraged the devotees. Third thing is serve the devotees. And we know out of 12 alvars, one alvar, he became addicted to serving the Vaishnavas to the extent, previously he was doing thievery and he wanted to marry one girl, but she was devotee. She said that you should serve Vaishnavas, and if you chant every day, then I will marry. And because he wanted to marry, he started serving Vaishnavas. But later he got so much taste, he forgot that he has to marry. And later he started stealing and looting to what? To serve the Vaishnavas. And later he is one of the alvars. Yes. So that is the power of serving the Vaishnavas. Because by serving, that one time Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said that Vaishnava Seva is Yoga Dharma for Kali Yuga. So that is the power. So whatever we can do, we need not like do anything, small services also can please his Vaishnavas. And fourth thing is very sincerely chanting the prayers, Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya, then our appreciation for devotees also increase. So one time, okay, I'll give these 4 things, what does chanting bestows. So you see, as soon as one start chanting, first thing happens, Krishna gives him association of devotees. You will see he get attracted to devotees. Second, Krishna does, he gives him Krishna conscious wisdom. Third thing, there is a chance to be engaged in Krishna. You see, as soon as one chants, he will immediately be engaged into seva. And fourth, when he continuously chant, Vaikuntha airplane will be ready to go back to God. These are the 4 advantages of chanting. So very one powerful solution. One time one devotee went to Bhurijan Prabhu and he said that I am feeling very sleepy. I am not feeling any taste while chanting. So I am not becoming attentive. What should I do? Prabhuji said, go and every day pray for 10 minutes. Prabhuji said, no, I am asking about chanting, Prabhuji. Prabhuji said, no, you do for this sometime, then we will discuss. And after 4 or 5 days, he said, Prabhuji, my chanting improved. How? Prabhuji said, you were never prayerful. So when you become prayerful, then holy name will come. So this is very nice, powerful solution for the improving the japa is when there is a prayerful attitude, then that will help in our chanting the holy name of the Lord. So Srila Prabhupada has given such a nice for us the morning program where there is a proper thing where we can in the association of devotees chant this holy name exclusively in the morning time. So these are what the benefits, and that's how that Srila Prabhupada said the only solution for this age of Kali is Saṅkirtan-yajña that we can do. So thank you very much. So please bless me and pray for me. Whatever I spoke, this or for my own improvement so that I can serve nicely. And forgive me if I spoke more than my understanding and realizations. Thank you very much. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Samaved Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol.